Oh,
We're live. We are live.
It's like deja vu.
it is.
I know.
I could have sworn I was just with you guys this time yesterday.
This just happened.
Stalkers.
You know what? Listen.
I just saw you guys.
Creeping.
You know what? Why stop a good thing? Why
Right.
stop a good
Amen.
thing? Now we're not selling tonight. Tonight
Well,
is
actually, I am bringing a vomit clock towards you.
listen.
I don't
If
see it on
anyone
the
wants to
mantle there.
Yeah.
I thought about it, but
If anyone wants to buy a vomit clock, you let David know because he's got it. He's got one that's real nice.
I've got one real nice for you.
Oh yeah.
So welcome everybody to Vintage Rescue Squad. Happy Monday. Happy Monday after daylight savings time. It's been a little rough, I think, today for a lot of us.
Yes.
But
Yes.
welcome to Vintage Rescue Squad. Thank you for hanging out with us tonight. Tonight we are going to discuss a lot of different various things. But we're going to do introductions here in a moment because some of you, I think that everybody knows who everybody is, but I will give everybody an opportunity to say who they are. But I want to say that if you have a question for one of us, if you would put it in all capitals, that makes it really easy. Well, it makes it easier for us to see. We're talking about really anything, but reselling, collecting, and antiques, vintage, collectibles, YouTube content creating, eBay, the gamut. So whatever you might have a question on, put it in the chat. And the four of us are on the screen, but if you have an answer or a comment for one of the questions, please feel free to go ahead and put that in the chat as well. We're all kind of in this together. We very much like this to be kind of a open forum and a safe space. And I see some Facebook people that just makes me so
I
excited.
know, right? I was like, ooh, the blue F.
The blue F.
Hi, Jamie. Thank you for calling us nerds. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. And I wanted to go up to the very beginning because look who was first.
Girl Jay.
There's
Get it, Jay.
Jay is there all the way from California. And then look who was second.
Karen.
Favorite Karen Radford. And we have Linda, hi from Michigan. And
Linda.
Susie, Matthew.
No, Matthew.
Puda Schnuda is here. And Mick. Yay, Penny Sue.
Steph.
And I thought I saw Amy said she just got back in from a run. Girl.
Yes. She's a serious runner. She has run since I've known her.
Yeah.
She runs marathons and the whole shebang. Yeah.
You know what? My best friend also runs marathons and is a runner.
That's awesome.
Opposites attract.
I know.
That's not me. I have never been a runner. I was the kid that during gym class, you had to run so many laps around the school building to equal a mile. And I'd be like, oh yeah, I totally did it. No, I didn't. I completely
That was me too. Like I hated those physical fitness tests, the rope climb. Don't get me started. Yeah. I would be like, I can't do it. And then that was that. And then the children would laugh. Yeah. We're talking trauma here, people. Trauma.
Well, we didn't have to climb a rope, but we had to like the girl, because there was difference between the girl things and the boy things. We just had to hang. We just had to hang.
Oh yeah. The overarm, whatever.
Our arms would be
like this. Yeah.
Did you guys have square dancing when you were in school?
I think I did. Yeah.
Music class.
I think it was like a short, 5-6 day deal. Like they went through that. Yeah.
No.
And it's so funny though, too, because, when you are square dancing and you're like, and you kind of had a crush on a certain, somebody and you're like, I think I'd be my partner. And they never were. You were always with a partner with like the kid that picked his nose or something.
No.
Wow.
Yes.
Did everybody have the kid that picked his nose and ate it in elementary school?
Yeah. It was rough.
You didn't have that kid?
Oh, we did.
Yeah, I knew him. I sat by him for like 3 years. Yeah.
Oh.
Parachute,
yes.
Yes, girl. Parachute day. And then
popcorn.
As a former
oh my God, is that what it was, Michael? Was it called popcorn?
Yeah.
When you put the ball? Yeah.
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 Okay.
As a former preschool teacher, I owned several parachutes, and that was a fun, even for the teachers, it's fun too.
Oh, that's cool.
For the parachute. Okay, so I'm going to scroll back up here. But welcome tonight again. Our guests are Junk Drunk Mantiques David. He's right below me there.
Hello,
and
guys.
his beautiful wife Sarah, the traveling
Right over here.
button. They also are sell with us on Michael's channel on Sunday nights, The.Cult.Of.Vintage. You know, you're going to see a lot of us together this week, just saying, because Sarah and I are having a sale. She's going to be on my channel Wednesday at 1 o'clock. And then I'm going over to her channel at 4 o'clock.
And it's going to be pretty serious. I've got uranium glass and sissy cabbage and Fenton fairy lamps and jade. So it's going down.
It's going to be a fun,
it's going to be a good
Wednesday. Okay. So the thing that I talked about a little bit in the title is kind of what it takes, I guess, to be a live reseller. You know, I get a lot of questions a lot from people that will send me emails and say, I want to do live sales. I want to do live sales. What's some of the things that I need to know or need to do in order for me to be able to do live sales? Right. So we're going to kind of pick that apart a little bit and kind of talk about all of those things that it may be that you might, if it's something that you're thinking about doing, maybe just stop and think about it for a few minutes. And we're going to kind of pick it apart a little bit. Go ahead, Sarah.
No, I just said I like that. That's great.
Yeah, I totally dig that.
So in it, you know, kind of where I kind of all started, like I just decided, you know, one day that I closed my brick and mortar antique store and I was going to do things online. And then I started a YouTube channel and I thought, you know, maybe I could, I think it started out as 5 Things Friday. If you were early in my YouTube channel, you'll know, or you've remembered, I used to do 5 Things Friday, where I would walk around the shop and I would pick 5 things that weren't really selling in the shop and I'd put them on eBay or I'd try to sell them when I went live. Those weren't live videos. Those were pre-recorded. So sometimes people would email me and then that kind of ventured on to, I'm going to try to do live sales. And then that was I don't know, 6 months or so, or maybe 8 months before COVID hit. Mm-hmm. And then that's when they all kind of, there were a lot of them at that point.
Yeah.
So I did, Matthew. I used to have my very first YouTube video. I had like my hair was as dark as Sarah's, maybe even a little darker.
Really? Is that your natural color?
No, this is more. Well, this isn't necessarily my natural, but I'm a natural blonde. Maybe not this blonde.
She's a version of blonde.
Yes, some version of blonde. Yeah, some version of blonde. But no, and a lot of people hated it. Some people liked it, but then when I went back to blonde, people were like, "Oh, thank God, you're back."
So that's funny. That's how they saw you, as a blonde. Yeah, I get it.
Yeah. You were going through that emo phase.
Yeah.
Is this emo? This is my natural color.
Emo. No, for me.
Well, I'm very fair skinned too, so it was pitch black hair, and then I wore red lipstick, so it was a little something.
I
Poshy days. Yeah, those were my Poshy Pate days. Those were my Poshy Pate days, Amy. Yes, they were. Well, I quit my job and I was selling everywhere I could because I needed to justify leaving my job. And I hated selling clothing, loathed it, will never do it again, did not like it. And I know some people do very, very well with clothing. It's just not I don't really care for fashion, You don't
have a passion for it.
I don't have a passion for fashion.
I feel that. I love it. And I love watching others do it. It's just not my thing.
Right. Yeah. Who wants to clean clothes when you can clean vintage glass or
I know. Yeah. Diane, I was red. I did go Auburn. I was Auburn as well.
I don't do well as a redhead. It just turns kind of like a mousy blonde because dark.
No, yeah.
Oh, no.
It's an inside joke. It's an inside joke about redheads. So.
All right, so let's talk about this. So I guess in the chat we could say let's ask you guys a question. Laura, I saw all capitals. A reminder again of how long you've been doing live sales. Well, I was creating YouTube content for a year before I was even monetized. So I was putting out daily content 5 days a week for an entire year and wasn't making any money off of it. So you have to, I think that's one of the biggest things though too. I don't think that you can just say, I see these people doing live sales and I'm going to try. I have all these things that I could be selling, and you may have very, very good things that you could be selling. Absolutely. But you have to have an audience. You have to at least start building that audience. And I think to get your audience to know who you are and like what makes you tick and what your niche is and the things that you like look for when you're thrifting. And you don't have to necessarily do shop with me's, because I know that they are very, very intimidating to do and they're not as easy to do. But you could start with doing haul videos. That's what I did. I would just bring things home. And I think that it's important for you to have it all laid out and, in front of you, to be able to slowly, show the things and talk about them a little bit, maybe look them up, do a little bit of research on them so you can provide a little bit of information to your viewer. Michael, do you have any, or Sarah, David?
I mean, for me, everything was very immediate. And, the truth be told is that the idea or the concept of the Cult of Vintage, it was specifically for Instagram. And I don't think that a lot of people actually realize that. I had no intention of being on YouTube, making YouTube videos. I was going to do it for Instagram. And I had started to actively list stuff on Instagram, which is very difficult because, and Sarah and David, and it's exactly what Misty said. It applies to Instagram too. And I'm certain that Sarah and David can speak better to that. But, you can't just expect to take a picture and put it out there and then random people that have no connection to you at all are just going to start buying your stuff. And then I started listing stuff on eBay. The eBay thankfully was doing a little bit better. And then, Misty invited me to do a live sale with her, and it went really well. And what was going to be once a month, we ended up turning into kind of like a weekly thing. And that's been over a year now. Yeah. So yeah.
That's
Thank
so
you,
cool.
I appreciate it.
Well, and I think that you hit the nail on the head. But it can very well, what goes on Instagram too kind of is a little bit of the same. It's a different platform, of course, but still building that audience is still the same. Because I remember even after I had a following on YouTube, I would try to do, that's when Instagram was still doing mainly static sales, and I didn't sell a thing. Not one thing. And honestly, when I first started doing the live sales, I didn't sell hardly anything. I would sell like maybe 4 things. And you just have to keep plugging through. And I think that you need to have more content than just a live sale. I don't think that you should do live sales straight out the bat. I think that you need to, put out consistent content, that even if it's just once a week, but it's at Wednesday at 7:00, every Wednesday at 7:00. That consistency, and it kind of puts yourself on that internal schedule. That way you stay to that as well.
Yeah.
Do you remember how many viewers you had your first year? I mean, I wasn't even at 1,000. I don't think it took me about almost a year exactly, I think, to reach my 1,000 subscribers.
Do you think, and Sarah and David, I'm curious to know this too for you guys. Do you guys think that once you started doing live sales, that it really started to kind of, you saw like a bigger uptick in your subscriber count because people were really better able to see you in real time? Like they were getting to identify you. And just as Misty was saying, they were getting to know you guys better. And Misty, that's for you though too. It's just like, so David, you guys were taking pictures and you were putting stuff up on the reels and whatnot, but did you see an uptick once you guys started going live?
Yeah, for sure. I would say for me, especially going from static sales to live sales, completely different audience. A few that were there for static merged over. for the most part, totally different viewers.
Totally different.
They're the static seller buyers that we used to have, or we still have, but with doing less static sales and more lives, we've seen static sales drop. Even if we do, a monthly drop, a big sale, it's not like it used to be, just because we aren't constantly catering to that crowd.
Yeah.
It's definitely different in starting that. We started selling on Instagram 8 years ago. So it was very, very, very different. It was our side gig, number one. Number two, it was only static selling. So you're posting a photo with a description, price, and hashtags, and that's it. You do a drop of, 20, 25 items 4 times a month, and that's 100 items out the door. And that was typically what it looked like for us as a side gig. I did usually about 1 sale a week. And would drop 20 to 25 items at a time. So then when live selling came about, it was completely different. And like David said, totally different watchers, totally different way to sell the things. And what we were actually doing was maxing profit, which is, if you're going to do this full time, especially, it's the way to go. It's far less work than photographing all the items as well. And I used to not only photograph them, but I would edit them through an external app, and I would put like a little vignette around them, and I would give each item a shape, and then I would have a carousel of description photos. It was just a lot of work, and especially then typing all of that in, plus your hashtags, your thumbs by the end of the night, posting your Instagram sale.
Oh, yes.
Exhausted, and there's a lot of people that still sell statically, but since live sales came about, we've seen the game totally change.
Yeah.
Well, it goes from that one-dimensional, just flat image of a beautiful image. You want a stock style image with nice lighting of your object, but you go 3D when you're doing a live and you're showing it to the camera. They're seeing you hold it in your hand, hopefully not dropping it, and turning it around and being able to talk to you about it. There's just something so, I don't know, Jetsons about it. You almost can reach out. Yeah.
Well, and I think that it always helps if you can sell it. You know what I mean? If you have to have you have to have a way to be able to talk about something, and I love vintage just because I like it, but I also like it from an aesthetic standpoint, from how people can use things in their home. When I had my brick and mortar store, I wasn't my client that I really wanted to bring into my store, my customer, wasn't another dealer. It was a person that was coming in and they're looking for things to decorate their home with. Right. So I was always trying to find, like Mark and I had this big thing because I bought this chicken incubator from an auction because it was a really pretty color. And he's like, nobody's gonna buy that. And I'm like, yes, they will. It's so cool. And it sold like that first, like the day that we had it, and he had to eat his words. You're right. Somebody
I've had to do that a few times with Sarah. I've been like, don't get that, babe. And she's like, oh no, trust me.
Wait. Yeah.
You just wait.
So in that aspect too, I think it helps to be able to, describe something, talking about the color, talking about the size, talking about how people could use it in their home, in their decor, not just being like, I got a cup here. It's blue.
It's a good one.
Blue cup, and it measures 15 inches tall. You have to. It's all in your delivery a little bit too.
Well, and truly, like I think a big part of it for me, especially starting during the pandemic, was going live and feeling a camaraderie with my co-sellers. And it wasn't just, being able to make money. It was being able to make money, max profit, and have a good time and interact with my customers in the comments, get to know them, get to know their names, get to know what they collect and what they like. Like, I really feel like the last 2 years was a lot of relationship building with my live people, and, letting them know we're solid. We've been around, we know how to ship your glass. Like, it'll be okay.
Well, and I think that makes it fun though too, because when you're out sourcing, and I say sourcing, and that's if you don't know, that's the term that we use when you're out buying more things to resell.
Picking.
Sourcing the things. Yeah, we're picking.
Picking.
You can think of people that come to your sales a lot and that are returning customers. It almost is like you're personally shopping for
Right.
1 or 2 people that kind of like the same thing. So it definitely does help. That's the beauty about having live sales and growing an audience and growing a customer base, because it really does allow you to know what to look for when you're out shopping. Jeffrey had a live sale today, and I was watching it, and I had asked a question to the viewers, and he was like, "What kind of things are you wanting me to look for?" And I stopped what I was doing because I was shipping, and I was like, that is a great thing to look at and see. And I think that he was even surprised at some of the comments.
Like what?
Oh, people are wanting the kitsch. People are wanting anthropomorphic. People are wanting, I'm like, yes. Oh yeah. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But all those things are the things that I want to look for. So it was interesting. And I think sometimes that might be a good idea if you do have live sales, either on YouTube or Instagram, that you maybe stop and say, you know what? Please tell me, what are some of the things that you are wanting me to look for? And that doesn't mean that you're going to necessarily buy everything that everybody's going to say, because I think that you really need to stay into what's in your heart and you need to pick from your heart, pick from your heart. The things that appeal to you too.
Kim, we've got plush for you, girl. Tomorrow.
Yes.
Kim, I do. You know what? And I feel so bad. You know what, Kim, gosh darn it, I'm going to make a vow, because I have a lot of it. I'm going to make a vow that I'm going to have at least one plush item in every sale.
Well,
Ooh,
listen,
all right.
Kim,
you hear me, Kimberly? I'm going to try my best. Honestly, it's because I love it too, and I sometimes don't want to sell it.
Mm-hmm.
But Kim, I'm going to try my darndest.
Twinkle Toes said that you have to have a good personality for sure. One thing I struggle with, I definitely have knowledge and a great eye for what sells, but lack the confidence in the video part. And I can completely relate to that, Twinkle Toes, because I was very reluctant to get into live selling. At first, I was like, this is like, people watch this? Like, I remember being like, I don't know how I feel about this. And I'm talking on Instagram, not on YouTube. Okay. Yeah. So when I first saw the Instagram lives, I was like, are they for real? And then once my ISN group started, it was neat to see personalities of sellers that I had known for years, right? We'd sold together statically for years. I bought from them, they bought from me, but I never really knew them. Now I'm seeing their home, their kids, what they're selling, what their mannerisms are actually like in person. And the video part of that was really nice. Now, that being said, it takes putting yourself out there. Yes. And there is a certain amount of thick skin that you've got to have. Okay. Because not everybody is going to like you and want to be your friend. And
that's the truth.
That's the facts of how it goes.
Yeah.
You can be the most wonderful, lovely person, and there will be someone there finding fault with you no matter what.
Yeah. Oh,
and they will.
You have to learn to tune those bozos out, right?
Yeah.
They don't matter. They're not paying my bills. They're not selling my vintage.
You can give things away, and they will still. They will still not like the way that you gave something away.
Yeah.
You see that one eye, it gets real squinty.
Yes.
The one goes up and the other one gets real squinty.
Michael knows.
I
started the day today with Michael, and he knows. He's like, and he just laughs. He thinks it's hilarious when Misty gets all mad, because I don't get mad very often. But boy,
you guys, Linda G has such a good question. Just
let me go up. Is she? Oh, there you go.
What formula?
I am going to slowly scroll back up too, guys, to try to find some questions.
What formula do you use to come up with a starting price for an item? We actually talked about this a little bit today on ISN.
Yeah, you did.
Talk. And for me, it depends on several factors. First of all, you want to not lose money. Okay. So if you've got $10 in the item, you want to at least make sure you're going to make 20. And then you have to factor in desirability. You have to factor in brand. You have to factor in condition. Condition for me plays a large part in my pricing. If it doesn't have any flaws, then I would ask what, I would put it in a brick and mortar for, or what I would list it in my shop statically on Instagram for. That would be my starting price.
Right.
So there's it, and of course it just depends on what you have in it. So there's a lot of different factors that go into pricing, but I think doing your research is the biggest part of doing pricing well.
Yeah, and I
Yes.
think that it's a fine dance to not sell your items.
Right.
And I think that we've all, I mean, I've done that in the beginning, because you're just kind of feeling out. You don't quite know what people are going to want to pay. If you're just starting out in this venue, you kind of like, I don't know that I don't want to look like an idiot. Nobody buy anything from me.
Right.
So, you're wanting to have a price point, but at some time, as things go by, you have to understand. And I really, really hope that buyers understand this. And I think that most of them do, but I know that some of them don't. But you have to understand that a reseller or someone that sells things, I'm spending multiple hundreds of dollars every week buying things. And I know that these 4 are too. And I know a lot of other resellers are multiple hundred. I have very successful live sales. I absolutely do. But I take a portion of what I've sold and put it right back into my business.
Absolutely.
It goes right back in. I put a portion away for taxes. I put a portion away for, just to build up my bank account a little bit, for you never know what's going to happen.
Exactly.
And then the rest of it goes right back into my business.
Right.
And the things that go into your business are your taxes, your insurance, your lights, if you're working from your home, then you still have all of those things too, because this is why you're paying your bills,
But you have the technology, and then depending, yeah, the shipping. That was something I was just talking about to Misty.
Cameras. Mhm.
Camera, yeah. I mean, I went out and, and you have to keep in mind, I'm only selling,
Hi, Bridget.
let's just call it 35 items. And I had to spend $120 on shipping material.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And I get a lot of stuff for free too. Boxes, shipping paper, a lot of that I get that for free, but I still had to spend money. And I think there's just like incidentals that maybe people don't think of, because if you run out of a box, for me, I'm not going to have my customer wait and be like, well, I ran out of a box. Sorry about that. I know you know what I mean.
Let me comment on that real quick.
Yeah.
I don't mean to interrupt you at all, Michael. I know I will 15 times a day, because that's inherently who I am. When I've got something I want to say, I get really excited and it just comes out. But if you have to make sure, if you're having a live sale, and David, have you shipped that big ass bowl yet?
No, not yet.
So if you have
Invoice though.
Invoiced, yeah.
Yeah, he has this bowl that will fit on his head. It's that big.
Literally.
It's punchable. It's huge. If you have a huge swung glass vase that's like 18 inches tall, you need to make sure that you have a box before you sell that item. Don't go on have a live sale and then your customer is waiting because you don't have the box. Well, don't sell it until you have a box.
Mhm.
Thank you. Amen to that.
Yes.
Yeah.
You have to be prepared, I guess.
Yeah.
It's not hard to find boxes either, like between what I buy all the time that's getting shipped to my house from either Amazon or whatever, right? I've got those boxes. And then my favorite place, David and I will source for boxes. We're dumpster diving. We'll source for boxes at the Hallmark store. The Hallmark store over by our house has like the best boxes. And then the grocery store next to that has like the bigger boxes.
And the dollar store, yeah.
And the Dollar Tree, yeah.
Yeah. Spruced and Gussie, Jenny says Instagram is so saturated with vintage sellers that she sees people selling stuff for so cheap.
Let me speak to that. And you know what? You're right, Jenny. That is definitely what is going on with Instagram right now. And what you're also finding, and what I'm realizing, is there are a lot of people that have done the pandemic pivot, right? That have had the full timer, and then now they're pivoting into something else that they like. And some people are finding that doing live sales and selling on Insta is for them. And some people realize it's maybe not for them, depending on personality, depending on time schedule, depending on how soon they can ship their stuff. So I think there is a lot of people that are dipping their toes into the live sale game right now. And we encourage that in my community. However, don't price your stuff too low, guys. That's the thing. Price it at what it's worth. Even though you might only have 12 watchers at your live sale, all you need, and we talked about this earlier on my channel today too, all you need is those 2 people that want that item.
Right.
Okay. So, think about what you have to work with, and think about the back end of things too when you're planning on being a live seller, especially if you're doing it part-time and you're already tapped out with your job and your kids and everything else. Maybe live selling is something you can do as a hobby, like once a month, but don't have 4 sales a week and then you can't ship your stuff out. Like that's, counterproductive to what you're trying to do.
There's also, I think a lot of people want to jump right in. I know I'm that way. When I start a new process of something, I'm like, okay, let's get all the way in there, and I just want to go all in. But starting out, Sarah and I with picking, she'd pick as many things as we could find that was worth some money. She would curate for her shop, and then the leftovers I would look through and decide what stuff I liked and wanted to sell, or whatever. And so Sarah helped me kind of learn through that process. And it would get so frustrating because I'd be like, I was chasing Sarah up the ladder, but I wouldn't sell something, and I would think I priced it too high, and so then I'd drop it down way too low, and then I would have that satisfaction of the sale, but I also know that I just lost $7 that I could have made if I just waited a little bit longer, was a little more patient.
Well,
maybe promoted it better.
I see a lot of people in sales doing that, to where like they'll go to the recap, and when you're and what a recap is if the things that didn't sell, they get brought back again to and sometimes they sell. Don't lower your prices.
Right.
That's what you're selling it for. That's what you brought it. That's how much you're selling it for. Because you know what? Some of those people that were here now in the recap may not have been there in the beginning.
Agreed.
So I cringe when I see people and they're like, okay, so they're originally tried to sell this for, $20. And now they're like, okay, well, $15. No.
Do that.
Right.
No, don't do that.
And think about the buyers too. You have buyers that know all of their vintage, and then you have buyers that are just learning. So if I get onto a live sale and I see all this Pyrex, listed for, or they're trying to sell it for $12, just 10 viewers, and it's priced really low, I'm not interested in it. But when I see Pyrex out in the wild, I'll be like, it's not worth anything. It wouldn't even sell for $12. I just got misinformed through a live sale.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, absolutely.
Good point. Yeah,
absolutely. And then I think about it though too. If I'm trying to sell this cup and it didn't sell, and then I'm not lowering my price on it because I think that it's a fair price. So I'm not going to go any lower than it, and I'm going to set it on the shelf. I'm going to wait a couple weeks, and then I'm going to bring it back again. If it doesn't sell for me that second week, it's gone. I mean, you can do a clearance sale, but I think sometimes people will wait for the recap because they know you're going to lower your prices. They know you're going to lower it, and they're going to wait for that recap.
You know what's funny though about the recap too? We always turn it into an auction if there's more than one person interested. And you'll find a lot of times on Instagram, I think the key is, who are you live at the same time as? Because that plays a huge factor in who's come to your sale. Yeah. So if you're live at the same time as like a big time seller who's very popular, then you are going to definitely have less watchers. But what may happen is Their sale gets over. All of those watchers come over to your sale. You do the recap, and then you've got 4 people that suddenly want an item that no one wanted in the beginning.
Yep.
So, you know, it varies. It just literally depends on the day. It depends on the time of day. It depends on the crowd.
Right. Well, and like if, let's say, you know, Sarah and I are going to do a sale and she's bringing kitsch, I'm bringing mid-century, but I'm going up against 2 well-known shops that are doing a sale with the exact same type of style of vintage, you know, then you're taking a chance on, yeah, you're going to lose half of your kitsch buyers, and that's just the name of the game.
Yeah. And what I think is a really effective strategy that I try to lead my coaching clients to do is if it's sold, if you've shown it a couple times in a live sale, go ahead and just drop it statically in your shop. Take the photos, do the hashtags, make the description, and drop it statically, and it'll sell.
And a YouTube seller can do that too. If you didn't sell something in the YouTube live sale, do it, take a couple pictures of it and put it on Instagram.
Put it on Instagram. And they sell over there. But, you know, going back to the original conversation about building an audience, that does not happen overnight. And that is what I try to impress upon people that are starting new on Instagram is it's not like I just started where I am. It's taken years to build a following and a relationship with my customers and you know, getting to know my co-sellers and all that, and have people understand who ISN is and what our community is about and all of that. So while it feels like, you know, you can just jump in and I'm going to sell all my swung vases, it takes time. You know, your swung vases may be uber popular and all have the Viking sticker on them, but if you don't have an audience to come to the live sale,
who are you selling to?
Right.
And I would say this though too, and I think that sometimes maybe, and I will speak for myself, that we fail to recognize that maybe a lot of people are, you know, you guys in the chat, you're watching it and you're thinking about doing it, or you have just started doing it, and you see people that are on social media and you see those people who kind of stand out from the crowd. And the reason that they stand out from the crowd is because they have all these people at their sale and they've got all of these beautiful items and they're commanding these high prices. So of course there's a lot of attention that surrounds those sales. And then you see that and you're like, I can do that, or I want to be like that. But the problem is that you're seeing that person in the here and the now, and you're not seeing the time that it took to get there. So what I would encourage you to do is somebody who has done this relatively recently, while it has been a quick journey, it's definitely been a short journey, and I do recognize that because truthfully, there are things maybe that a year ago I wouldn't have spent $20. Like me spending $20 on one item, I'd be in that mall for like 15-20 minutes deciding if I was about to spend $20
oh my God, that is
on one.
That's how we were before live sales.
So that's what I want to. I just want to make sure that you guys know is that there's nothing wrong. I did it. Every single person on here, and I'm telling you, every single person that maybe you see or that you aspire to or that you want to be like, everybody started somewhere. And the beauty about YouTube is, you know, with YouTube content is you can go back and watch the beginning of that person's journey and see where they started and watch those videos. If something captivated you here and now, go back and look at their beginning journey. Go to the thrift stores, find the stuff that's $5 and under, and flip it. And you're going to have to go through quantity, but in doing that, you're going to build an audience. The important thing, though, to remember is that you've got to continuously reinvest that money in your business. That can't go for the stuff that you want in life. It shouldn't be going to your personal bills. It should be going back into your business. If you want to grow your business, if you want to be a thrifter, junker, vintage hunter, if you want to be a traveling button, you've got to put it back into the business.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
you're,
then
you're
that is going to allow you to go out and maybe start going to the antique malls. And those $5 items become $10 items, and the $10 items become $20 items. And you start attracting, by virtue of having things that are harder to find or that are higher end, you start attracting a broader audience. And that is how you build your business. That is how you begin to get all of those eyes, and you get other people being like, well, I can do that because so and so is doing it. But it takes the time and it takes the investment in yourself and in your business.
Yeah, I agree.
Just like any profession, you can't just go from 0 to 100.
That's right.
If you do, you're going to fail. You're going to flop big.
I absolutely recommend going back, like go back into, I say go back into Michael's videos, but he did his the right way. Mine was just like, I never edited my videos in the beginning. That I hit record. That's what you got. Like my dogs was barking. I mean, it was a hot mess, but yeah, go back to my early videos and watch them and you'll see it's a different, I've evolved a lot. I've learned a lot.
Same.
I've had to switch gears several times, but that's just the evolution of anybody's career.
Yeah.
Things are going to change from when you begin and from where you end up, and it's going to continue to change. I mean, there's going to be more evolutions and revolutions and flip flops and all kinds of other things. But I think that one of the major things for me is, I take what I do very, very, very seriously. This is my career. It's what I'm passionate about. I know the three other people that are on the screen with me feel this exact same way. You have to, if you treat your business like a business, it's a business. If you treat it like a hobby, it's a hobby. Mm-hmm. And this isn't a hobby for me. I mean, I have to put myself on a schedule or I'm all over the place. So I think that you need to have a schedule just like you would at any, 9-to-5 job.
Yes.
That's what
structure.
That's
structure, discipline, structure.
And go ahead. I'm sorry.
I would say that when you're doing this full time, you will work more than you will have ever worked at any job in your entire life. That like I'm waking up at 4:00 in the morning. I may not be out of bed yet, but I'm awake and I'm answering emails or I'm responding to comments or I'm figuring something out on eBay or I'm checking someone's tracking number. You're constantly, from the time you not even get out of bed in the morning and to the time you turn your phone off and put it on your nightstand.
Well, that is self-employment in a nutshell. David and I have been self-employed for about 20 years, and we're coming from a photography background, which is far different than slinging vintage on the internet. Okay. Big difference. But I can tell you the things that ring true with running a small business for us is the work ethic. Okay. Yeah. In self-discipline. And Misty and Michael and David and I were talking about this last night, that the self-discipline aspect of what we do is probably the most important. And if you are someone that struggles with self-discipline, this may not be for you. I mean, and I am one of those people myself. Like I have to make myself stay on task and focus and get my invoicing done, my shipping done, my StreamYard stuff done, my promoting, my coaching, and I have to, echoing what Misty just said, keep that all on a calendar, you guys. That's the very first thing I tell my coaching clients is make a dedicated sales calendar and get yourself organized before you do anything. Plan out your time, because this is not just spending a couple of hours on YouTube or Instagram. This is far more work than that. This is the time that it takes to go get the item, the gas, love it. The the sourcing alone is very time consuming, exhausting. Then you're doing the research, which is down the rabbit hole like David does, looking for, is this Blanco or not? I don't know. And then you find it's not, and it's a completely different brand you've never heard of, but you just learned a new thing. So to me, good research is key to also kind of staying organized and being able to price my stuff accordingly, and then getting my sales on the calendar and sticking to it. But it's not just the sales you have to put on the calendar, guys. It's a shipping day. I just sold 20 items with Misty. I've got to now ship those.
Yeah.
Okay. Super fun to sell them.
I don't
It
have
was,
it written on this one.
okay easy to invoice for them and get people to pay.
Mhm.
Now the real work has begun. I've got to wrap and ship all of these items, and I need to do it in a way that, you know, it is conducive to good business. If you're selling someone things and you don't communicate with them and you haven't shipped for 3 weeks, you probably should cut back on your live sales, you know? And that's just kind of the way of the nature of what we do. However, if you can keep up with it and you can stay on task and you've got the self-discipline to, you know, plan that all into your calendar and then follow through with it, that's where you find the success and the time management and the self-discipline for you with the business will actually pay off. But it's not easy. It's depriving myself of time that I would love to sit down and just surf and be on my phone or be watching YouTube videos or whatever.
Read. I used to love to read.
Remember that?
I haven't read a book in 3 years. Yeah, I know.
I have been reading the same book for about 2 years now.
That sounds about right. I have the same one on my nightstand. Yeah. You know, so the time management and the self-discipline is something that, you know, it is difficult and you have to keep in check.
Well, and I will say with everything that you just said, Sarah, and same with you, Misty, earlier, this kind of also can go back towards how much do you charge for an item? How do you price your items? Okay, so we said you buy an item for $5, you better get $10 out of it. Otherwise, was it worth your time?
Right.
So that to me is your baseline. If your time is valuable to yourself, like it is to me, my time is, I'm gonna charge a little bit more than just double what I paid for it if the value is $50. And there's nothing wrong with that. That's business. That's, as a picker, I'm out there going and finding that item, and I'm not just finding it, buying it, bringing it home and showing it to you. I'm taking a gamble. I'm putting $30, $40 down, and I may have that money sitting in the garage for 2 months, and then finally someone buys it. So you have to really think about how much your time is worth to you. So you're not just giving it away.
Well, and I think that there are some people that think that we as resellers are in the methods that we sell our sales during offer ups using just in cases and that sort of thing, that we're ripping people off.
Right.
That has been said.
Oh, I'm aware that it's been
people
said.
Off.
I will just say to that, number one, how do you think eBay works? Just in cases are the exact same way that you bid on something on eBay. And that's a pretty solid business model, I'd say, friends. So why would you ever think that that was a seller being greedy on an item? In fact, if you notice, when people really want to max profit, if you really, really want to max profit out on a live sale, don't do just in case.
Correct.
I'm going to be honest with you. That's
the truth.
Well,
here's the example. I have my calendar right here. Okay, here's my calendar. So this is going to be a little show and tell. I'm selling this calendar. Yeah, isn't it pretty? I'm a mythical.
I love it.
How much?
Michael's on here and I'm on here.
I want it. I would like that.
Priceless.
So I am not doing. I am doing just in cases. Okay, so this is a just in case. And Sarah, how much do you want to bid on it?
$20.
Okay, and we're going to start counting it down because you can only wait. Before we do that, David, how much do you want to bid on this?
Oh, I'd go up to 28.
Okay, 28. So right now they've been actively bidding. So now we're doing the countdown. So we're going to count this down, and David's at 28, right? So here we go: 15, 14, 13, 5, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And Sarah put in a just in case of 75. Does Sarah have to pay? Does she have to pay $75 for this? No. She has to pay $49 because it's $1
$29. Okay.
29.
There's a $20 surcharge.
Stop trying to rip people off.
Missy, why are you trying to rip me off, girl?
I gotta have the numbers on the screen.
Michael, I don't know who that Misty thinks she is, giving away fairy lamps and doing just in cases. Good grief.
No, but okay. So now we're going to do it, and it's going to be, we are not doing just in cases.
Right.
Okay. And that's fine. It doesn't matter what a seller does.
Right.
What a seller does on their channel is up to them. Not everybody's trying to like be greedy, and we're resellers. We want to absolutely get the most that we can out of each item in a fair way. So now there's no just in cases. So Sarah, what's your bid?
20.
Okay,
Yeah,
20.
now I'm like thinking I want to put 21 in, and I might get it for it, but I don't want to lose this because I really wanted to get this for my wife.
Okay, I'll go
So
30.
now what do I do?
I'll go
in 30.
I'm in
I'll go 30, but I really wanted to just pay 28, but I can't take it back now.
No, now I'm going to start counting it down. So Sarah's in at 20.
Now I'm scared that David's going to swipe it for me. Okay, I'm going to put in 39 just in case, because
I'm going to throw another number out there, probably just to be on the safe side.
Okay, what's your number?
I'm going to go 45 because I think she doesn't have that kind of money.
Yeah. Okay. So he's right. He has now outbid me, and he's at 45. I'm poor. So
okay, I'm going to start counting it down. And there's no just in cases. 15, 14, 13, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. So guess what? He actually has to he could have put in a just in case of
45,
and he would have got it for $1 over. But did that make any sense?
It does.
It made perfect sense to those of us that are resellers. I think what happens a lot of times for us guys is we do what we do every day, and we pour ourselves, especially if you're full-time. Okay. I'm speaking to the full-timers right now. You pour yourself into what you're doing, between creating content, between finding the good stuff, washing it, cleaning it, make sure it doesn't get broken before you get it to the customer. All the things that we do that we don't talk about on a live sale. Okay. Yeah. And my point is, there's always going to be the people, whether it's a watcher, buyer, co-seller, someone's always going to have an opinion, okay, about how you should run your business.
Right.
Yeah. My whole thinking is, though, when you show up and you're expressing that in a live sale of what you think I should be doing, I don't go to your job and say, hey, did you make sure that you emailed those 3 things to your boss on Monday? I'm not at your job criticizing how you're doing things. This is our job. This is what I do to pay my house payment, my car payment. And until someone else pays those for me, I really don't think it's anybody's opinion or business, or even an opinion to be entertained, to worry over, because there's always going to be someone to find fault, no matter how wonderful you are.
Right. We can go back to 20 years ago, where if you want to see vintage in a thrift shop, you have to go there, and that's what's so cool about this is coming to our living rooms. We get to, when we don't have live sales going on, Sarah and I, we always have at least one live sale going, if not 2 to 3.
Right.
While we're doing other stuff, because it's free entertainment, and it's stuff that we like to watch and learn about. So there's value in it, and all you have to do is click out of it and go to something else.
Well, and when people,
that's exactly what David just said is the point.
Mm-hmm.
If there's something that you're watching and you're not liking the way that it's going, or you don't think that it's fair, I don't know where or at what point we as individuals decided that the right and just thing to do is to let the world know that this is not fair. It's not right. No, you do what you do. You move on.
Go somewhere else.
Do yourself a favor and just simply move on. Because the more that you're kicking and screaming, making sure that everybody knows your point, is less time that you could be invested in another seller who would really appreciate, or who may very well need, your business and your attention as a consumer. So I would encourage you, again, just keep in mind, time is valuable for everybody, whether you're a seller or whether you're a buyer. Be mindful of where you're investing your time. And if you don't like something, then don't invest further time in trying to let somebody else know how wrong they are and how right you are. Go help and support another business that, again, could really use your attention and your business.
Right.
And they're going to be maybe a better fit for you. There's nothing wrong with that at the end of the day.
And not only that though, people saying, well, they are just money hungry. They're selling things to people who can pay the most.
Yes, I am.
Correct.
I am.
Correct. And there's no shame in that. And anybody that tries to castigate shame on you as a small business, here's the deal. I'm not Walmart. I'm not Amazon. I am Sarah Coleman and David Coleman, who started on Instagram, who have made it through pandemic selling vintage. And I'm really proud of that. That's how I paid my bills. And if anybody's got anything to say about that, we're going to want to say it to somebody else, because I don't have an ear for that.
Yeah. Well, and see, the reason why, okay, so I've been doing live sales for 3 years. And I've tried every way. I used to listen. This is what you want to know how I started doing live sale. So I would hold things up and I would be like, you see this? This is nice. The first person to email me, you're watching it live with me. You have to email it me, not put it in the chat, because my mind wasn't thinking,
yeah,
people can put it in the chat,
right.
you know? So people would email me. And then it was like, well, I think it was Michelle Newton's cover that said, Misty, they can just put it in the chat. They can just do it right then and there. And I was like, you're a genius. So then that's when things I got, in the chat. So, but then it got to be where, and it was just straight claims. Everything was a straight claim. Well, then the emails started daily, nightly, probably not in the beginning, but later on as I did more sales, every other email was somebody saying, I love your live sales. I just can't ever get anything because of my internet lag. My internet's too slow. So then we're like, okay, well, what else can we do? And we tried to do the offer ups and then did a countdown.
I remember when you guys switched over to offer ups and people freaked out.
Oh, yeah.
They
were mad.
Instagram.
And caveat, let me just say this. I just want to interject this really quickly. I don't know people that actually fully realize this, but the reason that it really started is that because we were selling on YouTube and I was attending Instagram live sales. And as a buyer, I really liked it because I was like, wait a minute, we should, what? Oh, we should be doing this. It was, I take 100% accountability for this. Like, I totally was like, we need to do this. We need to do this.
Yeah, I remember when you guys switched over, you were like, do it.
I know, but God love her. She's the one that gets the heat for it for some reason. I have my own theories on that, but
I have my own. I do too. I know.
You have your own theories on that?
Yeah.
You want to just say what they are later?
Well, I think
I know because it was like, oh well, Misty, I won't do a sale with any because all of Misty does just in case, and I want to be like, it wasn't even my idea.
Well, here's the thing.
Again, fill me in on it. I didn't even know how it worked.
But again, you're going to catch a lot of heat from, and I'm not trying to sound callous or cold or whatever, but anytime somebody's got an opinion about what I should be doing, and I know I'm doing a good job, I know I'm operating ethically, morally, I'm handling it all, and then they've got that opinion, I'm like, how much weight do I give their opinion, really? Right. Because it really doesn't necessarily always matter. Sometimes it's people that are just looking to find fault and a need for and a desperate grasp for control in their own life. And it's a psychological issue that has zero to do with me. So I really don't let people put that on me. And nobody should. As a seller, you have to have a thick, tough skin because people are going to criticize what you do. They're going to file claims on you on PayPal for unjustified reasons. They're going to, you're going to have issues that come up and you just have to handle them with your best business head and not let the opinions of mice influence you.
Well, and that's where confidence and structure really come to play. If you're confident in what you've brought, you've researched it, you know what you have, you know what it's worth, and you show it, and people want you to go down on the price, or they don't want you to do it just in case. This is your business. You're self-employed, not working for a boss.
Right.
Your customers obviously help pay your bills and help keep your business going, but they don't run your business. You run your business. They come and shop it.
That's right.
Yeah.
So,
Well, and it is, but there are some. I mean, there were some things that happened today, and I just it became unhinged.
Well, and I think there's two things though, and I want to just make, because Missy, you highlight, or I don't know who, but one of us highlighted it, but Gia made an excellent point at the end of the day, and I think Amy is further expounding upon it, interestingly enough, is that Gia said it's capitalism.
Yeah.
And what capitalism is, if you're maybe unfamiliar, it's exactly what Amy is saying right now in the comment that is highlighted. The bottom line, irregardless of whether a seller is using a just in case or the seller is not using a just in case, the item is always going to go to the person who values it with their money the most. It doesn't matter. At the end of the day, it doesn't matter if a seller uses just in case or not. It is always going to go to the person who is going to spend the most money, period. Just like it does on eBay, just like it does in any other auction, whether it's a Chinese auction, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
That's how it works. And by virtue, I think people can say, if you want to conflate, like, but that's the idea or the term behind max profiting, and what Sarah is saying. You want to get the most for your money because you're valuing, as David was saying, your time and your effort. There are things that you have to pay for that maybe people aren't aware of. And at the end of the day, if I show something and I say this is $20, and nobody wants to buy it for $20, guess what happens? I put it down and I move on. Mm-hmm. If I show something and somebody wants to buy it for $20 and only one person wants to buy it for $20, guess what?
Yeah.
I sell it for $20.
Right.
If I have that exact same item and 10 people want to buy it, again, that one person, the 10 people that wants to buy it the most is going to get it.
Yep. Right. And you have, let's say I have 10 items in a sale and 9 items sell and 1 item doesn't. Well, that's why you want to make the most profit that you can off of each item, because you don't know how much you're not going to make on some of them. Some things will sit for a while. You may not ever make that money back.
Well, and the comment, of, oh, well, you must be greedy because you're trying to max profit. I would just say to that, I'm a small business person. I am selling vintage on these live sales to pay my bills. I have bills just like you. And why would that be a bad thing to sell an item on eBay? Okay. And max profit there and let people bid on it with a just in case, which is their highest bid, by the way. That's how eBay works, if you're not familiar. Why would me as a small business owner trying to make it be a threat to anyone if I am trying to max profit? What on earth is wrong with that? Nothing, my friends, nothing. We're business people. Okay. At the end of the day, I absolutely love nothing more than to cut up with my friends during a live sale and sell good vintage. It's my favorite. Okay. I love what I'm doing. However, if I wasn't making money doing this, I wouldn't be doing this. I love these people on this screen. We're like family at this point. But I'm here to tell you, we can video chat outside this realm
without an audience.
Well, that's why. I mean, and I'm seeing, we're talking
and then
about
it gets real.
And I'm seeing all of these comments in the chat, and they're very, very understanding. Mm-hmm. But then you hear the chatter, and you get comments, from people that are saying like, you're not paying up for items. You're trying to pull a fast one over on all your, and I'm like, oh, what? I just paid. Do you know how I have bought 3 fairy lamps over the past 3 weeks. I have paid $175 per fairy lamp on each one.
Yes.
And I'm taking a huge risk because I may not sell them.
You may
for
not
more than
sell
what
it,
I
and you may
paid.
get stuck
Right.
with a fairy lamp that really doesn't match your decor,
Yeah.
but you spent $150 on it because you know that someone else who is a collector will
Right.
also want it on the venue that you sell, and you're doing it to make a profit. And there is not one single thing wrong with that. That is the
Right.
society in which we live. That is capitalism. And Gia, your comment was pretty much my favorite. Gia said, women are
just
supposed
really,
to be nice and give it away. Yeah.
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 Gia,
Right.
that's so funny though. I love
Right.
that you get me.
But too, and I do want to point this out, and I think maybe to put it in a perspective for people that aren't necessarily reselling, and especially people maybe that aren't reselling on a social media platform.
Yeah.
And Judy, and you say it beautifully, and I do agree with you that 99.9%, well, I'll go 99%, of the people are extremely supportive and thankful.
Absolutely.
That's the thing, though. It's kind of like one of those things where you're in this happy bubble and everything's great and lovely and wonderful, and all of a sudden that 1% comes and pops the bubble, and you're like, wait a minute, what? So it immediately catches and draws your attention because it is outside of the norm. Do you know what I mean? But that's the thing, and I think we're all like that because we're all human beings at the end of the day.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? It's so like glaring, even though it's such a minority, because it's like it's that one star in the sky. You know, it's pitch black, but you see that one star, and that's where you're
Right.
focusing because it's that one star, and you're like, what's that one star?
Well, like what Danny said before, just in case, there's all kinds of sniping. And then that opens up the hole where people can't stand the sniper. And then the sniper that's doing, and I say, and then they're getting all kinds of hate from the other people in the sale.
Which is unfair. I will say I have been in sales on YouTube where I see people calling out other buyers and chastising them for bidding something up. Oh, you're going to get it again. It's going to you. Yes, because that person is a collector and wanted the item and bid it up. And I'm sorry they outbid you and you're salty about it. But nevertheless, that's what we're here to do. Like,
Yeah.
I just don't
block them. Do like I do. Block those other high bids.
Michael, that is not effective. No,
like Danny said, there's nothing more frustrating than losing out on an incredible item because your lag. You know, that's an issue with the lag, and you missed out to bid, and the just in case solves that because the just in case gives a 15-second, sometimes 20-second, depending on the lag countdown, and then the people that are actively bidding can put in their bids, and it can solve that. But really, I think that there's 2 reasons why other resellers aren't using just in case. And listen, it's okay that they're not because it's their business and they can run it the way that they want to run their sales.
Totally. And you as a watcher should respect that. And that's the thing. If you don't want to respect the basic ground rules for the small businesses that are conducting business in front of you, then you can go watch another sale or maybe, you know, read a good book or something that enriches your life instead of complaining.
Go take a bath.
Business about how they run their small business. It's really kind of silly. And I'll be honest with you, when these complaints come in like this, we all just kind of are like, they don't have any concept of what we do, which is why these vintage rescue squads and ISN vintage real talks are important because there's a person that is behind the business and the screen. And we are honest people doing a good job at what we do. And we don't want to be made to feel bad, I guess, for
trying to do the best for ourselves and not hurting anybody else.
We're trying to do the best we can that's fair for everybody. But yet then there's people that say you're just trying to rip people off. But honestly, you know,
that's not true, though. That's not true. I mean, I'm not a scam artist. I'm not a fly-by-night ripoff artist. I've been established selling vintage under the same name for 8 years. I'm not here to rip anybody off. I'm here to show good vintage and max profit so I can pay my car payment.
Well, and I think though too, what I just saw. Oh yeah, Leanne. Leanne said that she left sales because the seller is changing the rules as they go, and it was her
That's a
choice to
no-no.
leave.
And
That's a no-no too. I think that if you're going to
Right.
have a sale, you got to stick to your rules that for that sale.
And
Absolutely.
see it through. If something doesn't work and you want to change it on the next sale, do
Bingo.
that.
Yeah.
But you can't change the rules mid-game. That is cheating.
yeah.
Any game you play, that's just cheat. You change the rules in the middle of the game. You're like, oh, what?
Right. And listen, we are not selling a loan. We're not
No,
selling
we're not.
a heart for somebody. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's not like we're selling the Mona Lisa.
No.
Or like there's not these items out there somewhere else.
Not Sotheby's. However, we do find some really exciting pieces that we get excited to bring you. And I do agree with Michael, when you see then the negative mess going on in the comment section, you're just like, it kind of like takes away from the excitement and the mojo that you have as a seller to bring your stuff, because it's distracting.
Yeah.
So my best advice is, if you can't be kind or you feel the need to give feedback, do it kindly, and don't do it in the comment section. Directly message that person, and maybe
Right.
you can work something out with you to where you feel like things are more fair. Or maybe you should just go find something else to watch.
We have no control. And listen, and those of you that watch my sales will know this, that if I'm doing something and like it's getting up in price, and I'm thinking, in my mind, I'm thinking, okay, I'll start counting down, because I'm like getting a little nervous. I'm like, really?
I do that too.
The things that you think are going to sell for a decent amount, you've got some sleeper things sometimes that you're like,
Absolutely.
well, I'll be, but but then it makes you like, you get a little nervous. You're like, I'm going to start counting this down. 15, 14. Anyway, that's what I do.
Well, and this is, I'll say this though too, because it's the example that I used last night when we were speaking privately amongst ourselves. But and I'm not going to name names because it doesn't add to the story. But I was attending a sale, and it was in regards to the just in case, and it was at the beginning of the sale, or actually it was at some point during the sale, and the seller had made mention throughout the course of the sale. Just keep in mind, guys, I know that I normally use just in case. I'm not using just in case tonight. The seller went on to flat out say, and I'm going to do that because I need to get the most out of the items for which I'm selling.
Yep.
And I'm telling you, and that the next day I told Misty Pay and I told
if
Sarah,
you don't use just in case, you can get more money out of the items.
Right. I was like, but see, like for me, I want to use the just in case because I think it just, I like the way that it is. Okay. Now that said, the fact that that seller handled their business with such integrity and respect for themselves and their customers by telling them the unadulterated truth made me like and respect that person even more.
Yeah.
It did, because I felt, see, that's somebody that's really honest, that's gonna say something to, do you know what I mean? Like, and I think maybe that's kind of like, I think my biggest thing with it is that I sometimes feel like maybe as consumers we're led to believe something because it's like it's a favor to you, and it's like, oh, but is it really a favor to you? Do you know what I mean? Like, and then people believe that because why would that person lie to me? Right. And I'm not necessarily saying that they're doing it with malicious intent, but I'm kind of saying like, oh, but we're resellers. We kind of know. we kind of know how it works by now.
It all boils down to is if you don't like the way a seller is running their sale, then you don't have to watch it. And I think that it's not very, I think that they're keyboard warriors a lot of times too. They can type something in a comment, but they're not going to say it to your face.
Oh yeah. Or they will never show, like, you'll voice chat them like, hey, could we talk about your issue? And then they're too much of a chicken to even voice chat you back.
Right. Or they've never bought from you to begin with.
Yeah.
That's they've never bought or communicated with you at all. So it's insignificant. It can ruffle your feathers. It can make you want to just scream and yell and throw a little temper tantrum. But at the end of the day, it's insignificant. It's totally insignificant.
I always say, until you pay my bills, you probably, I mean, I respect everybody, what everyone thinks and what people have to say, but this is my business. This is Michael's business. This is Miss, and how we choose to run it is really important to us because we do it with integrity.
Well, but see, that's the thing that pushes my button. When someone says that I'm doing something and it's not my, they question my integrity.
That's just knowing how to push your buttons, though, because if anybody has watched you for any amount of time or purchased from you or knows you at all, they know that they're going to have a good sales experience. They're going to get a great package. It's going to be, you know, timely. It's going to be a good value for your money. It's going to be a nice item. Like, so I feel like, again, somebody said in the comments a little bit ago, you can't give too much power to insignificant people. And even by having this conversation, that does give them some sort of power. So my point is, you know, if you don't like the sale you're at and you don't like the rules and you don't like just in case, just leave.
Absolutely.
Because there's going to be someone else that does. And I am just fine either way.
There are lots of other resellers that have sales that they don't do just in case, and they don't do offer ups. It is,
and those are the resellers that don't do just in case that are actually maxing profit, just so you all know. And there's nothing wrong with that either.
No.
Okay? Nothing wrong with that.
That is 150% just fine. And what we do on Instagram some nights is we let people vote, you know, depending. I never really care if we do just in case. I don't care either way. And so depending on who my co-seller is, if we didn't talk about it beforehand, we let the audience vote. Do you guys want to do just in case or not? And we take the first 10 votes that we see and boom, then we've decided, and that's that. And if someone then is unhappy with those results, they don't have to stay. I mean, you know, it's just kind of part of if you go to a store, if you go to Walgreens, and you go to, you know, pick up a box of microwave popcorn at Walgreens, are you going to go up to the counter and tell the person that you think it should be priced less and you don't like the color of the price tag? Are you going to tell your checker that at Walgreens?
Yeah, people do. Let me tell you, as a retail store manager, yes. As a matter of fact, they will let you know. And that's the point. And I guess for me is like, I just get, because I literally have to deal with that at work. And I will say this, and I think that a lot of people maybe, well, I'll circle back to what we were going to say earlier, but didn't say earlier. And I have a tendency to think that maybe people voice those concerns to Misty, I think, a little bit more freely than directing them specifically at me, is because I think that I do have a tendency to give off an air about what you just said kind of vibe. Like, excuse me? Really, though? But yeah, and I think that we, you know, it is what it is at the end of the day. And I think that it is an important topic to talk about because I think that this is certainly something that a lot of people don't understand or expect when you are utilizing a social media platform to sell items. If you're using a third-party system like eBay, Etsy, Mercari, Poshmark, whatever it is, you have an intermediate, there's a wall. There is quite literally a physical digital wall between you as a seller and the consumer. There is interaction, there are headaches, most certainly, that are associated with those platforms. But at the end of the day, you have a business model. Both parties have to work within that model to be able to utilize that platform. Social media, it is very much a wild west.
Yes, it is.
And sometimes it can feel like it's a shootout.
Yeah, and just like what Lucinda was saying earlier, you had highlighted it.
Yeah,
and yeah, the social media platforms have merged with the business aspect.
Yes,
and there it is kind of like, can we kiss on the first date? Are we allowed to do this type of thing? Like, what are the rules here? And yes, we love when our customers that bought something, they're excited about an item and they email us again or message us their email again, even though we have it. because it shows that they're excited to get the item and they're proactive in making sure we're not having to thumb through messages to find it. And the same thing with being at a live and respecting when someone wins something and they didn't get it.
Congratulate
This
them.
is the way it is.
Congratulations.
Congrats.
Just
Nothing to
congratulate
lose,
them
people.
and move on.
Yeah.
Yeah. Don't be salty. And I will tell you, nobody enjoys being around a salty sailor. Like, vintage
No.
is our happy place. Okay. We do this not only because we make money and pay our bills here, but I am going to be very honest in telling you this is something I enjoy.
Same.
This is something I like. I enjoy giggling and visiting and being silly and reminiscing about strawberry shortcake from 1982. Like, I enjoy that aspect of
That
what
aspect of it, yeah.
we do. And so when you steal somebody's joy and come in as the salty sailor complainer, honestly, it just puts
Nobody likes the salty
buckets in our
sailor.
minds of like, oh, geez,
I'm the salty sailor.
salty sailors, they're
No,
everywhere.
I
You must
agree.
watch out for them.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I think that this is a good question from Jay. She
Yeah.
said, Misty, how did you feel about your drop sale? Is that way you think you'll continue to sell? And what are Michael, David, and Sarah's opinions on drop sales like that? So Misty, you go first and I'll finish up the last.
I really liked it. We did it as a collaboration with some other reselling channels, and it went really well. We were all really excited, and there was a lot of excited energy and stuff. I think the only issue if you're doing it as a collaboration is to make sure everybody's like, if it's a drop sale, it's a drop sale. It's not a premiere. So there was like figuring things out as far as that goes. But I think that it really went well. It was fun to do. It was something very different. Jay was so kind to, she wrote down she did all the paperwork for me. So all I had to do was, pack up the stuff. So that was very helpful. But yeah, it's something that I'm definitely going to try to do again, especially things like that one was salt and pepper shakers. So I think if I've got like, I have these books or I have these linens or I have, you can kind of do you can do whatever you want, but I mean, to me, it appeals to me to do like a theme of some sort, but things I need to get rid of.
On Insta, what we typically do with my static sellers group is we have 4 different four different static sales that you can sign up for monthly. And those are really a lot of fun. A drop sale, Glynis, is when you are going to Instagram and you take a photo of the item for sale. Then you write a description and a price and you add hashtags to the post and you list it as a static post. And then people can claim it in the comments with a comment of like me or mine or sold or something like that. So a drop sale is when you drop a bunch of items with photos to be instantly claimed. There's no auctioning or anything like that. It's just a quick claim and it's from a picture with a description and then you claim it in the comments. So those are really effective. That's how David and I started. So for me, static sales are a piece of cake and a breeze. However, the platform has changed so much.
Yeah.
I was talking to Heidi today on ISN Vintage Real Talk, and she was telling me that static sales are not what they used to because Instagram has become so evolved in the features that they offer. People can go live and easily sell things, and it's less time consuming than dropping 20 pictures with descriptions and hashtags organically in your shop. That takes a couple hours, whereas you could just sell these items, and talk about them and describe them in a couple hours. So it really is just a preference as a seller of kind of what you like and what you like to do and what's comfortable. And a lot of my new clients are like, where do I start? And that is my best advice to them. Start as a static shop or listing something statically in your shop for sale, and then get your feet wet into the lives and establish a presence. Let people know what kind of vintage you're going to be bringing them in the future. Buy your static drops and then dip your toes into the live waters.
Yep.
Well, and the way that a drop sale works on YouTube is that it's a pre-recorded video, so it's not a live sale. So I had mine dropped. My video dropped at 8:30 Eastern in the evening, and it was I think mine was 18 minutes long. I sold 24 salt and pepper shakers in 18 minutes.
That's so great.
And I didn't over talk. That was the thing that I was most proud about.
Well,
But
your video had to be to fit in that
yes,
schedule, though, correct?
to fit that schedule. And it just, I don't know, I liked it. So and then what you do is the first people to comment the number or the letter. I made some mistakes. Like mine were all like alphabetical order, and that kind of. But then I'd already filmed it, and I'm like, well, I'm not filming again. It is what it is. We're gonna have to figure it out later.
Yeah.
But no, I liked it, and I am going to do it again. But like I said, it's going to be like I may have a stack of books, and we're going to do it that way, or more salt and pepper shakers, or figurines, or I don't know, just like I feel like cleaning the shelf off today. And I'll grab all those.
Yeah.
Today I went live on Facebook spontaneously. I didn't tell anybody. I didn't even know. I'm just gonna go live on Facebook and do a sale real quick. And I did. And I did. We were for a little over an hour, and I sold 15 things, and it went fine. I shipped them all today. Sold all 15. Got them all shipped. And
That's awesome.
Can I interject something right there?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So with what Misty just said, that is great, and I love it and that's stuff that we like to do. Like if we have a day and it's just like, let's make some extra money, or let's clear out some of the shelf. Let's do a drop or a quick live sell. But I've heard with Sarah coaching new Instagram sellers that want to just get right into live selling. That is one of those things where you have to be a seasoned seller like Misty, Sarah, or Michael to be able to do something like that. If it's your first time doing a live sell, definitely go into it with some planning and have someone there to have your back. Whether it's
Never go alone.
Don't go alone, because it's so exciting to see someone like Michael
It is.
or Misty do something that's like, oh, that's such a good idea. I'm going to try that too. But it takes more than what it appears to take on screen.
I agree.
Yeah.
I definitely.
There's always, and I just want to say this though too, and I think kind of echoing what Sarah said in regards to if you're going to start selling on Instagram, what would be a great way to do static post, right? And I'm kind of almost wondering if that advice wouldn't be recommended maybe to somebody that wanted to sell utilizing the YouTube platform that hadn't grown their audience. Maybe doing pre-recorded sales might be something for you to do. And then in my head, what I'm really thinking for somebody maybe truthfully, that if you struggle with self-accountability, with time management, maybe you're doing this part-time or as a side hustle, maybe doing a pre-recorded sale might be the best way to hold yourself accountable because you're going to have the time to actually pack the stuff. Because that way when it drops, you can literally everything's ready to go for you.
Right.
Do you know what I mean? Like, I don't know. I think there's a lot of really good things, especially if you are a new seller, between doing static on Instagram or same thing, or a pre-scheduled a drop sale on YouTube. It really is going to let you, I think, be a little bit more time to kind of figure things out and give you a little padded cushion time that maybe you're not going to get if you're doing things live.
Right. Well, and I know for me, it's taking me a lot longer than it has taken Sarah and probably other people to be able to be comfortable showing an item, reading the comments, and being able to acknowledge different things because of a little bit of anxiety, So with getting your feet wet, that is a great way to do a pre-record because you can do everything without having an audience. So it's a chance to hone your skill, see how you want to do it, and then get feedback from your watchers.
Now, in like Thrifty Hippie is saying, I've really thought about doing pre-recorded sales because my channel is so small. Well, okay, but think about if you're consistently doing these pre-recorded sales, but you're like if you're on Instagram, you're like making these cool reels on Instagram. You're getting people, you're wanting to get people to come to your channel and to see your things. So using hashtags in YouTube is very important. You use hashtags on Instagram. You got to use hashtags in YouTube as well. That's how you get seen in the algorithm. You need to have a good title. You need to have a good thumbnail, titles, and tags, the 3 T's. Thumbnail, titles, tags.
And on the hashtags, for YouTube, is it the more videos that are attached to that hashtag, the better the hashtag?
Yeah,
correct?
you can have 500 hashtags.
Oh
But
my
it's a
heck.
lot
yeah.
like what I have
It's
found that
500.
is really important is that if you're putting hashtags that don't, you should have correlation between title, description, and hashtags.
Mhm.
So if you're putting in hashtags that you don't have in your title or your description, they can help, but they're going to be shuffled at the bottom versus a video that has the correlation between those three, if that makes
Correct.
sense.
Instagram
Correct.
essentially is the same way. You do not want to use hashtags on your static posts that don't relate to the photo or the description.
Yes.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
you can't, they need to be changed. You don't want to be seen as a bot. So
Right.
you want your hashtags to be in different orders, or you're using different ones.
Yep. I call it organic hashtagging. And I tell that to my clients all the time. Between 14 to 28, this is for Insta, between 14 to 28, change up the order on every single post and change up the hashtags on every single post, and make your strategy half generic vintage hashtags like Insta Vintage and half item specific vintage hashtags like whatever it is, uranium glass, Vaseline glass, swung vase, vintage vase.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yep. So let's talk a little bit too about some of the accountability as far as being, doing, if you're wanting to have a live sale, what are some of the things that can make a live sale successful? Like I want
Preparation.
Preparation. Okay, let's throw out some
What does
words
that look like? Yeah. So for me, live sale prep is number one, cleaning my stuff. I really try to make a conscious effort. If something's a little dirty or a little scuzzy or a little cloudy, I really try hard to clean my stuff up to the best of my ability. Now, sometimes time does not dictate that into my day, depending on the day.
Right.
But, 90% of the time I clean my stuff and get it really looking nice. And that is important for a live sale, because for a static sale, you might be able to take a picture and get away with it, depending on your lighting and angle, where it's still, a little dirty on one side, or you still leave your for a live sale, you need to de-sticker everything, get your residue off, make it look nice, make it look like an item that's ready to ship, basically. Right. And then from there, I go into researching my items and curating my sales. So what that looks like for me, depending on who I'm selling with. So for instance, when we have Four-Eyed Vintage on Sunday nights on Michael's channel, we each curate 10 items. So throughout the week while I'm picking, I know, okay, this item's going to my sale with Michael, this is going to my sale with Misty, this is going to my sale with David. I know what I'm curating for. And I think that's half the battle right there, is being smart about your curation based upon who you're going live with. Okay. Correct. And then the second part is just being smart about your research and writing down your descriptions. David, do you have any of our little sheets handy?
I do. In just a second, I'll pull it up.
Okay. So we basically, it's really simple. We have little sheets that we made in a spreadsheet format. I write the description down. I write the price down, but I'm going to start the item and the dimensions. So like if you're selling an Afghan or you're selling a piece of art that needs to have dimensions, have that all done and ready to go prior to your sale, so you feel prepared and you're not struggle bussing, with your Hello Kitty, and trying to during a sale, which sometimes I do. You guys know that, but be prepared. Be prepared. So then
be prepared.
So I write my description down and I put my starting price down. And the reason I do that is because if I have to come up with that on the fly off the top of my head live sale, most likely I'll probably underprice my item. I'll be like, oh, we're going to start at $12.
That happened to me today.
Sarah, we really should start this at 28 because you have 14 in it.
So, you don't want to forget what you have in it. Yeah,
exactly. So
recap
do
as
yourself a favor and write down your descriptions, the era, the brand, all that good stuff. and write down your starting price. Then once the bid end happens, you're going to write down the buyer's name. And if you're on YouTube, write it exactly as it appears on YouTube. If you're on Instagram, write down that username exactly as it appears. And then that's that. And then you're ready to invoice the next day.
And this is why it's so important for you to have a sale with somebody if you're just starting out, because you're going to be able to look over at that chat and write down their name correctly. Because if you don't write it down correctly, and then you're thinking, I think I know them, I think I sold to them before. And then you're trying to find their email, because that's the thing too. Y'all, please just send your information. Just send your information.
It's tough, y'all, when we're trying to track you down after a sale, and then we all have to conserve with each other. Misty, do you have it? Michael, do you have it? David, do you have, and
there's like 5 groups going around. I think I've got like 5. I'm a member of 5 different private chat groups of resellers who are looking for people's information.
Yes.
And that's not fair.
Yeah.
No. It's no. Well, this is the thing though too, is it's kind of, it's one of those situations, and I think we talked about it on last Vintage Rescue Squad, is here's the thing. If and I think that by now you guys know that from Vintage Rescue Squad, is that if as a customer you came to Vintage Rescue Squad, and you guys have said, well, this seller didn't send me an invoice in 2 and 3 weeks, I'm gonna tell you probably shouldn't go to that sale, right? Because there should be a level of respect that's shown to you as a consumer. I just want to say this real quick, but if as a consumer, I need to demonstrate a little bit of respect to my seller though too. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, is all I have to do is send them an email with my contact information? Just send them the email. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's not that deep. And the fact that there's 5 different chats going on is like, that word gets around real quick as to who is and who isn't sending their contact information, who is and who isn't paying their invoices, who is and who isn't a timely buyer. Like, do you really want to be the person on that list? Do you know what I'm saying? Like, really?
Well, I'm going to be showing an item. I'm going to be showing an item first thing at our sale tomorrow, because I've not gotten their information. And so it's going to get resold because I don't, and then odds are that person will probably show up at the sale. Hey, I bought that. Well, you never sent me your information. Now it's being sold again.
Yes. And on the flip side of that, I will say, huge thank you to those of you that email right away or message me on Insta right away. And those of you that email me again, even though I've already got your info.
Absolutely. Those are really MVPs.
Your heart, thank you. Because you don't understand, especially like on Instagram with invoicing, if you sent me your email address 8 months ago because you've been buying from me over 8 months, I have to scroll all the way up to find your email address every time. So if you just send it real quickly, even though I've already got it, if you just send it again, you're really doing people a huge favor. And it's
when in doubt, send it.
Oh, that's why David Coleman put down my thing in the DM. I was like, what? I'll put your contact information in here. I was like, okay.
It also is, I want to say this too, to sweet buyers out there, you sweet buyers out there that are going to all of these sales. I see y'all at different sales. It's fun to see, popping over to different sales and stuff. If you are not getting items in a timely manner from that buyer, and you've communicated with them, and they're still, or that seller, and they've still not sent your item to them, email them again. And if like 2 weeks have gone by and you've still not gotten that invoice, cancel that order.
Right.
I'm sorry, cancel it. That's ridiculous.
Yeah. And Jenny, you're right. When you invoice through PayPal, you can save that customer's information. However, we would have to memorize the first 3 letters of everybody's
Real
email,
name.
get it to auto-populate. So
Yeah.
that's why it's nice to go in and we see, okay, this is Cult.Of.Vintage, so I'll put in the cult and it'll auto-populate. Done.
Just
But a lot
look,
of times
Tiger
it's
said,
not.
I
Yeah,
used to
that's
do that. I used to do that.
yeah. I mean, I feel like, yeah, if you can just
I like that.
send it to us again, even though you know I've already got it, please don't make me scroll up for 8 pages to find your email. Just
It just
Yeah.
makes it get to you faster. Yeah.
And it's okay to go to sales and that you like, and you like the people and you like hanging out, and you just know that maybe you shouldn't buy anything from that person, but you can go and hang out and be, with the community. There's nothing wrong with that. But I think that I just can't stress it enough that your shipping is the most important part of your job, because
Yeah.
you're going to build a trust with your customers,
right.
and a form of respect, that you respect them and you respect their time. And, I don't get it. I don't understand.
Well, to me, I feel like this as a seller. If my buyers are taking their very valuable time, because let's be honest, we all are pressed for time daily, usually in our lives in some way, shape, or form, right? So
Yeah.
if I have someone that takes the time to show up to my sale, bid on an item, win that item, I want to show the respect that I appreciate you coming for me.
Yeah.
Here's your invoice because I care about your order. And I'm going to ship it within a week of when you pay because I care about your order. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? It just, that's all I mean, as a business person, and it doesn't matter if it's vintage or not, just in business, when you show people that you actually care about their commerce, it goes a much longer way than just putting people off and saying, well, we can do an open box and then I can ship it 3 weeks from now and you can buy some more things. No, just ship their stuff. Just ship it
Yeah.
out.
Yeah.
Make
And
it
don't hold a box for over a week.
get organized. Yeah.
Don't hold a box for someone do not do an open box for over a week.
Yeah.
And I
Because
will do an open box if I've got a back-to-back sale and I'm live Tuesday night and I'm live
Yep.
Wednesday night, then I will absolutely invoice
Absolutely.
both of those sales on Thursday.
Yeah.
And you can combine what you bought on Tuesday with Wednesdays.
Mhm.
Like, not a big deal. But I don't like to do that for anything, anytime over a week, just like Misty
Yeah.
said, unless you're an international customer and you want to buy and you need me to hold off on shipping. That's my only exception to the rule.
I have heard this too, and I just cannot for the life of me.
No.
There
No.
are people that they have been over a month and they still have not gotten an item that they paid
No.
for.
Not right.
Well, and again, when your buyer enters the contract with you to get that item and they pay their invoice through PayPal, the respectful thing to do to show them that you appreciate their purchase is to get it out of your house or your selling space, wherever you are. Get it shipped out the door. It's a relationship and a respect and a trust that you build with your customer versus them thinking, well, if I buy from Sarah, last time she didn't send my stuff for a month, so I'm not even going to fool with her this time because I bought an Easter item. Whoops, sorry. I bought an Easter item and I'm definitely not going to get it by Easter if I buy from Sarah. I've heard people talk about other sellers like that. And I'm like, man, you're shooting yourself in the foot if you're not getting people's items out the door, because especially with seasonal stuff, people want to decorate with that stuff. You
don't know. Someone's buying someone for a birthday gift for somebody. You don't know how they want their stuff.
Well, and usually, if somebody needs a rush on something too, and somebody says to me, hey, Sarah, this is for my cousin's birthday. Can you ship it to this address by blah, blah, blah? I am on it. I push that to the front of the list. I make a special note. I put it on their item. Like, I take care of that because I care and I respect. Now, is that convenient? Not really. I'm hoping your address in PayPal is the same address you gave me to ship to. But if it's not, you can tell me and I will make an exception and I'll push it to the front of the line and get it out for so-and-so's birthday. Like, I have no problem doing that, but you got to tell me.
We talked a little bit about, having sales with people, and I won't ever have a solo sale other than I've done it I'll do it on Facebook, but I just like having a sale with somebody. But I will say that from experience, be very careful who you align yourself with and who you align your business, because you can very much be a reflection of one another. And if someone isn't pulling their weight or hasn't been pulling, then you can get lumped into that, category when you are, you've pulled your weight, you're pulling your weight, but some person can kind of weigh you down. So kind of like I've gotten to the point now where I won't have sales with people unless I truly understand what their business practices are, because it's so important to me that that's the only way. I will only have a live sale with someone if they are what's the word I'm looking for?
Accountable,
Established. And I know that everybody needs to start somewhere, but you can still start somewhere. I just have to look out for myself.
Well, and that's just being smart, I think, as a small business. It doesn't matter what your small business is. You want to align yourself with people that have the same kind of business acumen as you do. And then stick to that and just be smart about it. And what I love is I have such dear friends in this community. We hold each other accountable. You know what I mean? We really do. We hold each other accountable on, oh my gosh, I'm behind on shipping this week. I got to get the stuff out the door today, and I talk to my friends about that kind of stuff, and be a support to one another, be good to one another, help each other with your businesses, because, you can pick each other to death if you really wanted to. That's not why we're here. The support from the community, and then it flows into how you interact with each other and your business practices with who you associate with.
Yeah, absolutely.
I totally agree.
Oh, bummer, Jeffrey. I'm sorry. Yeah, I don't even do those anymore.
Yeah,
I'll hold something for a week. Like if I'm having but I do, like on Sunday nights, I say, please email me. If you want me to hold it, you must email me.
Yeah.
If you don't email me, I have to keep on schedule. Because I know not everybody can come to my sale in the middle of the day. They're working or they have a meeting or, because sometimes they work and they're working, but sometimes they can't. And, I don't want to get behind. So I'm going to go ahead and send the invoice. There have been times, and it happened today, that I got an email saying that they wanted me to wait, and I had already sent them an invoice. Well, I'll cancel the invoice and I'll put your box aside. But I have to initially get it wrapped up and done so it doesn't make me behind, because I'm shipping out 80 to 100 items a week.
Well, and it's all about organization. Yeah. So
exactly, David, the time management and the organization of, okay, I have 3 live sales this week. I need to devote XYZ day to shipping alone. And when you plan your live sales, whether you're on Insta or YouTube, plan for the back end. Don't just plan for those 2 hours that you're going to be live. Plan for that day to ship, that day to invoice. Plan for those days, build them into your calendar, and you won't have this problem ever. But it's when you get overwhelmed. And what I see sometimes too, you'll have a new person come into the community. They're red hot. They're on fire. Everything's selling at all of their sales every night, and they're having 5 sales a week. And then what happens is their death pile for shipping is downright intimidating. And then they get behind, and then it gets really behind, and then
it snowballs,
complaining, and then the community hears about it. And so to alleviate all of that in the first place, schedule your day. If you know you're having this live sale Thursday night, schedule that day in your calendar coming up in the next 7 days. I've got to ship everything I sold Thursday. And then hold yourself accountable and do it.
Yep. Yeah. And don't go shopping. Get your shipping done.
Yeah.
Right.
In Maple Grove,
go shopping until
don't have another live sale unless you've already planned it. Don't just stay live, because I've seen that happen too with new people in the community that just get addicted to being on camera and live. And
a live sale should not last more than 3 hours.
And then they're not even writing down buyers' names. Yeah. They're not getting it right. People aren't getting invoices. Like, keep yourself organized and work this as a true business rather than, I'm just selling things on the internet.
Now, this is just my opinion, but I do not think that a live sale should be over 3 hours long, unless it's like a special event.
marathon or something. Yeah.
Even
But
if
that
the
is way
movie's
too
over
long.
3 hours,
Time is money.
Yeah.
Time is money. You're sitting there for 6 hours, 7, 8 hours. No.
I
No.
would love, I think Peggy has a really good question / comment, and I saw Jeffrey responded to it because I knew he was doing it for a while. That makes a lot of sense in theory, and I would love to be able to do that. The actuality then is that I'm having to, because people are not, we're up here literally asking people to send us an email who have shown up at a sale and said, I want to buy this. So now we're asking people to actually send an email before the sale starts. And then what ends up happening is they forget, and then they're
Yeah.
going to send it during the sale. So I'm supposed to stop the sale and be like, okay, let me check oh, and then I got to continually refer back and forth to,
No.
I don't recognize that name. Did you send me an email? Okay, you're good. So we can honor that. So it just gets a little hairy. You know what I mean?
I
Like,
think we've all tried that, and it's
Well, and when I first started doing live sales, we were going live for 4 hours, and it was me and my girl Amy, and we were having fun doing it, and we were selling, and it was great. But what we both realized was, oh my gosh, that was 4 hours live of our lives. Holy cow, we haven't eaten. And what it really boiled down to for us also, which I'm not very good at, is self-care. Schedule your dinner, figure out having dinner, before your sale or after your sale. But take care of yourself, because that's what happened really to me last year when all of the live sales took off. I was completely overwhelmed, overextended. I wasn't taking care of myself, my husband, my house, my laundry, my dinners, like everything was in disarray. Okay. So I've learned this not because I'm some expert that likes to come in and tell you all about my experiences, but I've done this by failing at
absolutely.
what
get it, Sarah Coleman. Get that truth, girl.
Yeah.
Speak on
And you learn kind of the hard way of, oh wow, I certainly don't want another year like that where I never have a free moment to myself and my DMs are this. You start to then do better on the time management for yourself, but it's a work in progress. I certainly don't have it all figured out yet, but I'm trying hard.
Honestly, I used to try to sell like 60 or 70, 80 things in one live sale. And I found that I am now selling, I have 2 live sales and I'm selling 40 items. And I was trying to sell 80 items. Now I'm selling 40 items in less time, and I'm making more money selling less items in less time.
Same.
It's funny how that works, but it does work.
Well, and it comes down to like what we were talking
boring
about
people
at the
to
get-go.
death.
Yeah, it's the structure, making yourself accountable in every way, and getting it all lined up to where it is kind of seamless, and it will appear seamless and feel seamless. And then once you have your method down, don't let other people questioning your ways of doing your business change the way you do it, because that's going to make it not operate as successfully as it was.
So say here first, how do you handle a buyer that doesn't pay their invoice after a week and you find them in another auction buying? I
invoice canceled.
Well, no, I send reminders every single day. Every single day. So if you're like, Misty, you just sent me your invoice yesterday, you're sending me a reminder. Yes, I am. I'm sending you one every single day, because if payment isn't made by the time my next sale comes around, I'm canceling it and it's going to get resold. And then what will happen is you won't be able to buy from me anymore.
Yeah.
Unfortunately. And it stinks. It does.
So
or if you've not communicated with me, like you can tell me, oh, I can't do it this week because my heater went out, and can I pay you next week? If you communicate with me, I'll work with you. Absolutely.
Same.
But
let me know. But that, I think, where it comes in when they don't pay their invoice after a week, I call that ghosting. I mean, for me, that's a ghost. So I'm like, they're not responding, they're not paying. I'm just going to go ahead and either put that item back into my inventory, which I usually need items anyway. So I'm like, oh, well, that's fine. And then I will say what stinks is when I've shown it sold, and then I have to re-show it, it feels weird. And I don't know why, but it just does. And so what I do is I will let people know if I have to re-show an item. This item did previously sell before, but I couldn't get in contact with the buyer. So it's back up for grabs.
Right.
And I let people know, you know what I mean? That I'm not just trying to like bring repetitive inventory.
Right. But know that some people, and I know that they do this because they've told me that they do this. They will go back to the previous week's live sale and they will see who that person is that didn't send you that information. So don't be that person. I always say, lie to me. Tell me you broke your arm. But communicate something with me.
Yeah.
For me, I don't know. Like, to me, and I hear and I respect, and I certainly understand with you. You're saying communicate with me. That's the thing. Like, if you can't pay an invoice and you say, Michael, I can't pay this, period. I can pay it next week. That's all you have to say. I'm not the kind of person that you owe me an explanation as to why. I get life. Do you know what I mean? And I would think that over the course of time, and I'll speak for myself, but I think that the all four of the people on this screen, that as you've gotten to know us, that I think that you would understand that we're not the kind of people that are just gonna like bash you because life has occurred, or we're going to dismiss you because we're putting off a vibe that if you can't pay, that like you owe us an explanation. What we are simply asking you to do is communicate. You don't have to provide an explanation. You just have to tell us that you can't, and that if you want to follow through. And I've had people say, Michael, I overspent. And you know what? I get it. And does it stink? Yeah, it does. Do I allow that person to buy from me in the future? Yeah, I have. And they have come through subsequently. Do you know what I mean? But yeah.
Yeah. And if it's, I'm obviously lenient like you guys. If something comes up, oh my gosh, my car exploded, I didn't have the money I thought I had this week. Like, okay, when can you pay? And for me as a seller, I think that's what's important, is nailing down a date that you can pay. And that way, then it's like a verbal agreement between us both of, you did claim these items in the sale. I know life happened and that stinks and I'm sorry. I also have bills to pay. When do you think you can pay? Right. So, that way it's just a mutual respect. Basically, between the two of you, and an agreement, and communication is everything, Diane. It is. But when it's just a ghosting situation and you just leave people hanging, that's when we're just like, okay, cancel the invoice and move on. And yes, we do all talk behind the scenes. We know who you are, and likely more than just one of us. If you've ghosted one of us, you'll do it to any of us. Yeah. And talk about it. Like, we're resellers, if people are messing with the business and coming in and claiming things and not paying and ghosting, then yeah, we do talk about that kind of thing.
I don't know if he's still here, but Daniel, happy birthday.
This is Daniel's birthday.
Oh, happy birthday.
Yesterday, I think it was yesterday.
Belated. Hello.
Should we sing?
I don't know. Daniel, are you here? Daniel, I have on a brooch. Nobody's asked me about my brooch. It's Dr. Whiskers from Clank. Oh. It's a game.
Okay.
He's a Dr. Cat. He's a Dr. Cat named Dr. Whiskers.
You go
layaway. I've never had anybody ask me to do a layaway.
What?
A layaway. Where is it? It jumped. Has anybody ever asked you to do a layaway?
When I first started, and I did it, and I will never do it again.
Yeah, I did it too. When I first started, I would let people put half down, and then you can pay the other half on such and such a date. But the only agreement that I had with them to do it is set dates. Again, kind of like what I was talking about earlier. Okay, what date can you pay? And then I would put that in my calendar, and I would note it on the invoice. We'll be paying by the 24th. And then what would happen a lot of times with those people that took the leeway in the first place is by the 24th and they didn't pay. So, if you are going to make an agreement with someone, definitely honor it.
Mhm.
Yeah, I won't do it. I've just been burned too many
Oh,
times.
Peggy is the big 60 today, and happy
Nice.
birthday. y'all.
Peggy.
Happy birthday, Peggy.
Awesome.
Da-na-na-na-na-na. You said your birthday. Ba-na-na-na-na-na. Happy birthday,
Peggy,
Peggy.
I hope you're having a wonderful day. Thank you for being here with us on your birthday, girl.
Yep. What happened to me is I let somebody build a box, and it like grew and grew and grew and grew. And at one point, I think that she had two 12 by 12 by 8 boxes that weighed about 9 pounds each.
Ooh.
And then I invoiced her because on the day that she said, and she said, "Oh, I can't afford to pay that." Well, no, I'm not doing it anymore. I need to sell it. I want to sell it, and I want to get it out my door. I have a whole thing for 1 week.
Another good reason not to do open boxes, because what happens a lot of times with an open box is, and I've done them before, so this is how I know, because I did it and I failed. So trial and error over here. No, I did open boxes for a bit, and what was happening is I would have people get to a point where their box weighed 22 pounds and shipping was high. And then what would happen was they had already paid for the items, but they were waiting to pay for shipping because I had kept the open box. And when it was time to bill them for shipping, it was, oh, well, can I go ahead and get a refund on 2 of those items? Because I don't think I wanted to
blow those things out. Yeah.
Yep, that's what happened to me too.
We're not doing that. That is a no-no. Yeah. Not doing that.
No, you can't. I mean, listen, we've when I say that we've tried a lot of different things, and it just doesn't work. And I mean, Michael and I like to keep our sales we like to be able to chat and have fun, and on Sunday nights we like to chat and have fun, and it's we all want you guys to talk in the chat, but we keep it very structured. And that's we're having a sale. Like, this is not a sale, this is a chat. But we both like to keep our sales, and I know Sarah and David do too, on we're here for a reason.
Don't get me wrong, I love to have fun and crack up, and sometimes I lose it, control my laughter, but then I do try to rein it back into the sale.
Well, and that has to do with respecting the viewers right there, and your co-sellers, because we all have stuff going on, all have lives, and after about 2 hours, that's when a lot of the buyers are, I'm going to go ahead and do something different.
Yeah,
and,
energy goes down, energy tanks, everybody's energy tanks, and it's just time. It's time to go on. It's time to move on to getting the stuff invoiced or getting the stuff ready to be shipped.
Hey-o.
So
less is more. That is what I think Amy and I kind of came to too, is when we started Wicked Good Vintage on Wednesdays. That was one of our weekly sales. And then we both had like 4 other sales. And it was to the point where it was hard. It really was hard to keep it all organized. So pace yourselves. Don't overdo it, but don't underdo it either. You know what I mean? If you have time to have the sale, just make sure you've got time to do the follow through. And it's a lot, you guys. This is not an easy business. I think a lot of people are like, oh, they just sell stuff on the internet and show it and like give a price, and then they make all this money. And I think, when you hear a complainer occasionally, that's what they're thinking too, that we're living some glamorous vintage life here on the internet. And most of the time my hair is in a bun. I don't have on proper undergarments, and I'm in my kitchen from my stove.
And you have at least 3 Goodwill stickers stuck somewhere.
I'm the weirdo.
I go to bed with Goodwill stickers in my hair half the time.
I'm the weirdo that loves shipping. I think I love it so much.
You're a weirdo. I don't know.
You are.
But I love it because it's the one day. It's the one day of the week. I'm not on camera. I don't have to film anything. I don't have to put makeup on. I don't have to care what I look like. I'm just working, and I don't have to mess with any of it. I have a task that needs to get done.
Those
and
are
I
my
get that
picking and
done.
choosing days
Yeah.
too. Yep. I don't worry about having to be
No.
on camera or worrying about what I look like. I just focus on the vintage and focus
Yes.
on the job. But this is full time. I think I don't know about you guys, but like I'm doing 12, 14-hour days most days.
Yeah.
The switch from part-time to full-time was kind of a rude awakening, but also like crazy exciting at the same time. So it's definitely a lot more work. Somebody did ask earlier, do you and David do this full time? And the answer is at this point, yes, we do still own our photography business, and we have photographers that are actually shooting under us now. So this is the full-time gig. And we love it. We're happy to be here and so grateful for all of y'all. Because as much as we have talked about, in the beginning, complainers and salty sailors, the wonderful people that are buyers and commenters and watchers to all of us far outweigh people that have an opinion.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? You guys are what really keep us going. And as much as, it may not seem like we see your comments or whatever, during a sale, just so you know, I read every single comment. I see every single one of you. And I wish I could respond to you all, but sometimes it's not my turn to talk. So that's the truth.
Yep. Yeah. We do the best we do the best that we can, and we really do try to make it fair for everybody and try to be a positive and very uplifting.
Yeah.
We have a first time here.
Crazy Maze, welcome.
We just hanging out talking.
Thank you.
Yeah. All right. Yes, I did want to say that. Yes, Peggy, don't ever, and I agree. Peggy said that she sold something on eBay and they wanted to like send her an email afterwards. Never communicate outside of eBay. And also I want to say too, if you are a viewer and you are looking at my eBay store and you send me a message via eBay, I am not going to reply to it because eBay does not want this fraternizing between No. So if you send me a message on eBay, I'm not going to reply to it. If it's like, hey, Misty, I bought this from you. You're my favorite seller. Do you have any other of these? Blah, blah, blah. No, I'm not going to answer that.
Yeah.
Because eBay was like, no. You can't do that. You can't talk to these people about other things besides eBay.
Right.
So just know.
Yeah.
Well, guys, we are 8 minutes past our 10 o'clock pumpkin time. Thank you guys so much. Sometimes it's good to have these little powwows. Like I said, we try to keep this like a safe space where we can kind of go behind the iron curtain, I guess you could say, and talk real life.
It's the iron curtain.
Isn't that what you're supposed to say? The iron curtain?
That's a Russian reference, but
we don't want that.
Yeah.
The velvet curtain.
I wasn't going to say
The velvet curtain. The gerbil curtain.
The gerbil curtain.
Jesus. Okay, it's time to go. Good night, y'all.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Pay no attention to me. I don't know what I say half the time, but not the iron curtain.
Well, Zoe said you all are so awesome, and I have to tell you guys, we think the same about you. Our buyers and our watchers and our viewers, those of you that have become our friends, really value you. The vintage curtain. There you go.
Okay, someone earlier was asking about how to come up with a shop name. There's a good shop name if anyone's looking for one. The
vintage curtain. You heard it here on VRS. That's right.
That's right.
Good job. Go ahead, David.
Oh, I was just going to say, and kind of like what you were saying, Michael, we are kind of in a testing mode of the future with this as far as selling on YouTube and Instagram with the social media. So this platform and this talk that you have every week and that Sarah has every week, it's so good for buyers and sellers. So never take things in a negative way or whatever. It's kind of just information so we can all inform the next people that come in that have no idea what's going on. We can be like, oh yeah, this is normal. This is how it goes.
Well, and I want everybody to know that we're just real human beings. We're real human beings on this side of the screen that really love what we do. We enjoy all of you so much, and we feed off of your positivity. And so that mojo just keeps me going. I love the positive energy in the comments and with this group of people. It really brings an extra element of joy to what we do.
I do want to say, though, I do have an idea of something that I really want to do. And I don't know if there are people that might be interested, but so I'm just going to put it out there. If you are a seller, and no, if you are an active buyer and you're buying things from different live sales, and you might be interested in being a guest on Vintage Rescue Squad and having some conversation from a buyer standpoint and seller, please send me an email. thrifterjunkervintagehunter@gmail.com, and we can, work it out whose channel it's going to be, mine or Michael. But something that Michael and I have been discussing for a while that we would like to get a buyer. And I know you're like,
I'm doing that in May on ISN Vintage Real Talk. I have a Monday in May set aside for 3 of my buyers to come on.
Nice.
Because I want people.
I've been trying to work on a few, but they're not.
From a buyer's perspective. And then I also have for ISN Vintage Real Talk an episode set up in May with how do I transfer over to YouTube and sell there. So Michael and Misty and Katie from Vintage and Vinyl are going to be helping me with that. And I'm looking forward to it. That's going to be in May. FYI, I did want to tell you guys, I had my episode of ISN Vintage Real Talk today. We talked a lot about static selling. We talked a lot about not comparing ourselves to others and what researching items looks like and how that benefits you when you're pricing your items. So if you would like to go watch the replay of ISN Vintage Real Talk on my channel, that happened today, and it was a really good episode.
Yeah,
No doubt.
Yeah, and I think the echo may just be a little bit of volume on one of the computers, but
oh no, I'm sorry. Is it me? Am I echoey?
Someone mentioned an echo. I hear an echo.
I'm turning it right down. Well, thank you guys so much. Make sure that you are coming over to Michael and my sale tomorrow at 1:00 Eastern Standard Time. If you want Neil the Frog, we got Neil the Frog. Yeah. Oh, and Danny, I saw Danny, I got a turtle fairy lamp. It's a freaking turtle fairy lamp.
I love the white one.
It's not going to be in the sale tomorrow, but I got it.
That is so cool. A turtle fairy lamp. What?
Yeah.
Talk quietly. So
I didn't even know that even happened.
I didn't either. But thank you guys so much. I really do appreciate it. And if you ever have any questions about anything, feel free to just send us an email and we can do our best to answer it or get you in the right direction of somebody that can answer it. Thank you guys so much. If you would please give the video a thumbs up on your way out. Again, that's the best thing that you can do for a YouTube content creator that you enjoy. It's free. Just hit the thumbs up button and leave a nice comment. And it's very, very appreciated.
And come to Misty and I on Wednesday. I will be on Misty's channel selling with her on Wednesday for her Wednesday sale. And then we're going to go over to my YouTube channel and sell some more with Amy Beth, who is filling in for my girl, Amy.
I'm so excited.
So it's going to be really fun, guys.
It's going to be a fun week.
I saw Kim Sawyer's asked, who's the next person we can try to get to 1,000? It's me. I'm at least 300. So.
Subscribe.
David, love for more subscribes.
And let me Kim, I will pull a plush for tomorrow. Okay. You if you will be there, I will pull one. Also,
I have one.
Oh, well, I'll pull one too. And also, you guys, big things are going to be happening this summer. Just saying, we all might be together in the same space.
Oh yes, it's
yes.
It's insane.
Yes, accommodations are being made. It's going. Yeah.
Reservations are going to be made. So
big Colorado Bookers Convention. Yeah,
we're gonna do some crazy stuff, y'all.
I'm buying all Van Briggle.
No.
If I don't find bucket loads of Van Briggle when I come out there, I'm gonna be surely disappointed.
Oh, Misty, I'll take you to the place with all the Van Briggle.
Yeah,
okay.
We love it all sitting in one place just for you, Misty.
We know where to find it. We'll take you there.
Yeah.
Okay. Deal.
Thanks, Jay.
All right. Thank you so much, Jay. And thank you guys so much. And Michael and I will see you tomorrow at 1 o'clock Eastern on my channel.
We'll be
Boom.
watching.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks,
Bye, guys.
guys.
Guys.